All right, what's going on YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Let's talk about the big fight this weekend at light heavy. Oleksandr Gvozdyk, whatever way you say it, against Artur Beterbiev, whatever way you say it. Okay, big fight. One of the better matchups in the light heavyweight, or no, in period in boxing. One of the better matchups we're getting this year. Okay, shout out to the channels that's covering this fight. There's not a lot of channels that's talking about this fight. There should be, and I don't mean just YouTubers like myself. I mean media. I don't feel like they're covering it like the way that they should, because this is one of the better matchups that can be made in boxing. This is a unification match between two undefeated prime fighters in the same divisions, high skill set, huge background in the amateurs. This is one of the better fights. I mean, you really can't get more 50-50 than this fight right here. This is a great fight. I'm glad it's happening. I'm not mad at all. You know, I know everyone's talking about Kovalev and Canelo. Great fight. You know, I would like to see if Canelo can pull it off and challenge himself and move up. That's cool and all that. But this is a fight between two guys that really should be facing each other. Okay, these two should be facing. If it's not these two, it should be Kovalev. It should be Bivol. Whatever way you mix it up. These two, very, very good. You got good boxing ability, good punching power. You're getting all of that in one fight. Don't really know who's going to win. Even as I'm making this video, I spent a lot of times watching fights that I've seen and covered on this channel already. I've had to go back and watch fights. I've even gone back to watching my old videos that I made years ago. I mean, back in 2014, videos that I made on Beterbiev back then, because I was talking about him back then. You know, so really couldn't come up with a decision. I'll give you my prediction or my winner at the end of this video. But took a really hard time. Wanted to do this video weeks ago, but just couldn't figure it out. I mean, this is as 50-50 as you can get, all right? So anyway, let's talk about the fight. Let's talk about Beterbiev. Let's start out with him. He's going to be the aggressor in this fight, I believe, okay? He's usually a front foot heavy. He's a monster. Power in both hands. I mean, they both have power, but Beterbiev is pound for pound one of the hardest punchers out there. He's a very, very strong fighter. Big puncher, big time puncher. All right, he likes to come forward and destroy. That's what he does. He's knocked out everybody he's faced, and that's what it is. Okay, he's fought a lot of these guys at light heavy and the amateurs. All right, extensive amateur background. Okay, and a lot of experience. Don't look at his records. He doesn't have that many fights. He came out blazing. Let's talk about him. Came out blazing. As soon as he turned pro, came out blazing. For guys like Gabriel Campillo, who was a top contender at one point at 175. You know, he fought him while he was a little older, but he fought him after only having like what 5-6 professional fights, you know, maybe a little later, maybe a little earlier, but something around that. Okay, and then he also fought a former champion, not the greatest champion, but he fought Taurus Cloud. All right, maybe what 7 fights in or something like that, knocks him out quickly. Okay, this is good for a guy that's only fought several professional fights. Okay, came out very fast. Unfortunately, he had some injuries. He was out. He's inactive for a little bit. You know, wasn't having that many fights between 2015 to 2017. Came back. He's back. Fought a couple. Picked up a couple of good names. Fought Kalajic, a guy that I thought beat Marcus Brown. Right, thought he was robbed of that win. I thought he definitely beat Marcus Brown in that fight. Very, very ugly fight. And recently he also beat Callum Johnson, who was undefeated and is another one of the biggest punchers in the division. I mean, huge puncher, power on both hands. He was able to stop both of those guys, all right? So Beterbiev, he's going to be coming forward. You know, he's going to be looking to cut off Oleksandr Gvozdyk. Okay, he's going to be looking to cut him off, get in close, and throw combinations, throw big shots to the body, up top. He has power in both hands, okay? So that's what I'm expecting for him. He wants it to be a war. He wants it to be a slugfest. All right, now, both of these guys has been down. Beterbiev has been down. I was looking at an old fight that I covered on this channel. Beterbiev fought Jeff Page Jr., right? Didn't know who he was back then. I'm pretty sure many of you don't know who he is right now. But the thing is, out of all of the fighters that I've seen Beterbiev fight, he has a lot of similarities to Gvozdyk as far as his lateral movement, his timing, okay, his boxing ability. I saw a lot of it in that fight, okay. Beterbiev had to keep cutting him off and chasing him, okay, and I felt that Jeff Page was winning the first round. All right, and was boxing well, timing him well, countering him well, landing a right hand that dropped Beterbiev. That's one thing about Beterbiev. I don't think he has the greatest defense. I don't think he slips shots that well. I think he could counter well, but I don't think he's the slickest type of dude. I think his head is usually dead center, and he's usually trying to cut off the movers or coming straight forward or going straight backwards. Okay, so I think if anybody wants to watch a fight and see some of the weaknesses and flaws, it will be in that fight. Well, it would be in that one round, because that was the only one round that he's ever really looked vulnerable to me. That was the only one round, because right after that round, he just went after Jeff Page and destroyed him. And I feel like he's one of those guys that as soon as he gets dropped or gets hit with a good shot, he just takes over and destroys his opponent. He's like a guy that is a boxer, puncher, but he just wants to brawl because he's so powerful. All right, so I think if you want to look for a weakness in him, you have to go back to that fight. I did do a video on a fight. Maybe I'll add it to the description. I mean, I did talk about it years ago, but if you want to go back, look up his fight with Jeff Page Jr. Also, he's been dropped against Callum Johnson. He got dropped. It wasn't a bad knockdown. I think he got rocked because, listen, if you look at that fight, that was one of the fights where I felt Beterbiev had to become the boxer. Okay, he was working more behind his jab in that fight because Callum Johnson is going to come towards you. This is a big puncher himself, and he was looking to land one big shot. So Beterbiev in that fight actually fought a little bit on the back foot, and he was working behind his jab more. Okay, looking, he's boxing, going to the body, throwing good counters, setting traps. And Callum Johnson was just coming in trying to get close to land big hooks, okay, with that high guard. But there was a point in the fight where they started to exchange a little bit, and Beterbiev got caught with a hook. And it's not even like his guard was down. His guard was up. But the way the hook came, it had swiped and touched his chin. So he went down. Round was over. But after that round, he recovered and went back to work and ended up stopping Callum Johnson, right? Callum Johnson, big puncher. You're not going to see any similarities there with Gvozdyk. If anything, you're going to go back to that Jeff Page fight because there's more similarities there, right? So I think when I see Beterbiev, the weaknesses I see there is, the fact that his head is straightforward. He's so front foot. He's so offensive heavy most of the time, especially against movers, that he comes straight forward. And he could get hit with some counters, especially with some big right hands over the top, like Gvozdyk liked to throw. All right. Now, Gvozdyk, as far as resume, he has a better resume between the two. He has more fights, and he's fought the better fighters, I believe. Okay. He beat Adonis Stevenson, even though it was a tragic win. All right. He was able to stop Adonis Stevenson after Stevenson's long reign of being a lineal champion at with the WBC title and everything. All right, so he had a long reign, and Gvozdyk was able to stop him a couple fights back. And even before that, he was fighting some good guys, some good names, like similar to the level that Beterbiev was fighting. Fighting guys like a Craig Baker, Muhammadi. Who else did he beat up? Who else did he beat? He also beat Carpensy, a fight that he got dropped. Didn't go back to watch that fight. I remember watching that fight a while ago, but I remember Carpensy did drop him in that fight. All right, but he's fought some guy like Uniesquez Gonzalez too, who gave Pascal a really tough fight a few years back. I covered that fight too. He was able to stop the majority and outbox the majority of his opponents. Okay, I think the only fight where I wasn't as impressed is the only fight that I actually went to see him. Excuse me, went to see him live. Was against Imam Mehdi. All right, a guy that French fighter that I never seen fight before. But he gave Gvozdyk a lot of problems because of his jab. Okay, he was able to touch Gvozdyk all fight long with that jab, and Gvozdyk really couldn't get a rhythm. I think Gvozdyk, believe it or not, as good of a boxer he is, I think he's somewhat of a rhythm fighter. Okay, uh, he kind of. I feel like he kind of needs to reset himself every time he gets touched. And I think he deals with pressure well. And I think he moves extremely well. Okay. I think he has great angles, sets up his punches well. Great counter puncher. And he has power as well. I don't think he has as much power. He doesn't have nearly as much power as Beterbiev, but he will stop you, and he has a good knockout ratio as well. He comes from that. He has same trainer as he's trained by Lomachenko's father. Same camp with Usyk and Lomachenko. Okay, very lot of similarities with these Ukrainian fighters. But I don't think he's as good as the other two. I don't think he's as good as Lomachenko or Usyk. Okay, obviously he's not as he doesn't have the resume that those two have. But I don't think he's as good as a boxer because I don't think he has the reflexes like them, and I don't think he will deal with pressure as well as those two. I think those guys have proven to be better, in my opinion, between those two. But Volsek, not to take anything away from him, is just that he's still really good. I just don't see him as good as those other two. But he moves very similar. He likes to sidestep and turn his opponents, and he does have power, like I said. But going into this fight. Uh, what worked against Adonis Stevenson, right? What worked against Adonis Stevenson is not going to work in this fight. Okay, you're fighting a younger, hungrier, well experienced fighter. Okay, maybe he doesn't have the professional experience as Adonis Stevenson, but he has a huge age advantage. All right, you got a guy that's powerful in both hands, uh, and even though Beterbiev hasn't gone the later rounds, and I believe that Gvozdyk is probably going to try to take him to the later rounds, I'm not too sure if he can. Okay. Adonis Stevenson was much older, all right, and he slowed down dramatically going towards the middle of the fight, even against who's this guy? Adonis Stevenson fought. Oh, I can't think of the fighter that moved from 168 that fought him not too long ago. I'll come back. I'll come back. But anyway, let's keep it going. I don't think that trick is going to work. I don't think that you can keep Beterbiev off of you for that long. You have to somewhat bring the fight to him, but you have to do it smart. Okay, you have to pick your shots, but you have to throw respectable power shots. Okay, I don't think you should take the approach that Colin Johnson did and just went in there and try to slug it out with him. All right, but Volsik is going to have to land that right hand early. Okay, maybe first round, get a feeling him up, feel him out. We know he's going to be moving a lot and doing a lot of lateral movement, and I think that's going to give Beterbiev some trouble. Okay, but Beterbiev is going to become very aggressive at some point. And he's not going to take long. And he's going to try to pressure Gvozdyk. And even though Gvozdyk is good at moving and turning his opponents when he's cornered and stuff, I've seen him against the ropes. If you look at the Ilineskis Gonzalez fight, if you look at that fight, Gonzalez is he's a big puncher. He comes in, he likes to swing wildly, likes to get in these brawls. And I felt like Gvozdyk took advantage of that and boxed well. Okay. He doesn't have the power that Beterbiev has or the skill. But I think Gvozdyk handled himself well in that fight. But this won't be as easy. And it's whether or not can he deal with that pressure uh, when Beterbiev come. I mean, he does get hit still. Can he take those hits, those big punches from Beterbiev? You know, uh, I don't think moving and outpointing him is going to be enough. I think he needs to bring to fight to him, but at spots. Okay? Don't stay in a pocket for too long because that's Beterbiev fight. You don't want to make it a Beterbiev fight. But you have to bring the fight to him in some way. You can't be overly moving around the ring. You can't overdo it. Okay? Because you're not going to win rounds that way. You're not going to win rounds that way, And you're still going to get caught from time to time. So I think Gvozdyk needs to gain some type of respect early on. And I mean like early, like maybe second roundish. Okay? Just working behind the jab and moving a lot is not going to do enough. Okay? And Beterbiev has his own jab as well. Okay? He's going to be looking to land bombs. He's going to be hitting, he's going to be throwing shots to the body a lot in this fight, Gvozdyk is good at covering up and protecting himself and moving. But he's going to have to fight with this guy. He's going to have to do it. And the thing is, when he does it, he's going to have to be able to hurt this guy. He has to do it. He has to do it. That's the only way. Because just doing the Adonis Stevenson thing and just relying off your movement and just taking him deep waters, that's not going to work. You're fighting against a younger guy. All right. It may work because we haven't seen Beterbiev fight in the later rounds because he's knocked everybody out. But I just don't think it's going to work against him. I don't think it's going to work that way. And Gvozdyk is a guy that's, even though he moves a lot, he can be pretty aggressive as well. All right? But he does a lot more to get to those stoppage than Beterbiev. Beterbiev kind of just like brawls it out. So anyway, listen, I really hate to pick a winner in this. I think it can go, I think it will really go either way. And I'm not sure, but I like Gvozdyk better because I like his boxing ability. I prefer him. But I think Beterbiev is just too powerful. And I think at some point he's going to land something big and it's going to hurt or rock Gvozdyk. And even if he doesn't stop him, I think his aggression and his pressure is going to even if it goes to the scorecards, it's going to be what the judges are going to like to see. So I have him winning regardless whether it's knockout or decision. I have him winning this fight. But I do believe that both fighters can win by knockout or decision. I think both can win either way. I just don't think Gvozdyk has enough to completely neutralize Beterbiev. I think he's just too much of a puncher. I think his pressure will be too much. I just think overall he'll be too much for Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk, if he was as skilled as a Usyk or a Lomachenko, I would go with both of those two. I mean, I actually watched Usyk's fight against Beterbiev in the amateurs a few days back. I think Usyk would do the job, not because he's bigger, but just because of his skill set. I think he would be able to do it. Gvozdyk, like I said, he's very good, but I don't know if he's good enough to beat this guy. All right, but I think either could win by early stoppage or by decision. Early stoppage, late stoppage, wouldn't be surprised at anything. Gvozdyk, he has power as well. So if he's able to do what Jeff Horn did early in that fight and hit him and land a big right hand, all right, and counter, he can very well put Beterbiev away because Beterbiev's head is dead center. He's there to get hit. It's not like, he's not no slick fighter. But I have Beterbiev, but I do think Bivol would beat both. All right, if I was doing a prediction for the other fighters, I think Bivol would beat the both of them, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I think Bivol has the power and the skills to neutralize Beterbiev, in my opinion. All right, and I think Gvozdyk and his movement, his lateral movement, He's a good boxer, but I see Bivol still beating him as well. All right, so that's my pick. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, donate to the channel, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.